That's well. I mean, I guess it depends on the continuity.
Yuji Naka walked by and sneezed, and all of the rings flew out his nose across the planet.
That's true. That's cool.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, so.
You're listening to The Opinion Zone. It's that time again when common sense and decency go out the window and questionable opinions come in. Starring your deranged hosts, Jay Eggman, David the Lurker, Sega Scourge, and of course the one and only Uncle Poxy. Oh, and as always, please remember the following show will probably contain strong language. We warned you, so don't complain. Let the chaos control begin.
Let's go. Hey, yo, it's the Sonic Show. Hey, yo, it's the Sonic Show. Hey, yo, it's the Sonic Show. Let's go.
We need to establish continuity. Jamie, did you finally climb out of the bathtub?
I don't think that was the last episode, was it?
That
Was that the last
wasn't the-
episode?
Yeah, that was you.
Oh, it was?
I thought it was because.
Oh no, yeah, it was. It was
Right.
right because we did the two at back to back, and
Right.
then you guys did an off one.
Right, there was
An off one, it certainly was.
That's right. It was not clickbait at all. And
It was not.
It was not. Unlike every other Sonic the Hedgehog YouTuber out there, it was not clickbait.
That was genuine content. Yes, because the Opinion Zone is back. I know we said we were back last year when we came back for 3 episodes. But we're actually back. This is the Opinion Zone. It is episode what, Dave?
Oh, the first number is 8, the second number is 6. 86.
86, you guys. That wasn't rehearsed. We're back in the Sonic Show, and it's weird. I haven't got any of my old sound effects, or I usually have claps and applauses and Donald Trump soundboard. That was a phase we went through.
That was
Right.
a massive phase, very important phase.
That was
definitely
before the
showed
dark
up the
times, before the Empire. Wait.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that phase followed slightly after the fart soundboards for Nicole.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then we stopped doing that because someone didn't think it was funny. But we're back. It's the Opinion Zone, episode 86.
It was fun.
And shut up, David. And we're back because this is a year for Sonic. To be fair, we weren't really around last year, but let's be honest, we didn't really miss much. To give you an idea, last year when we did a podcast, our 2 main topics were Team Sonic Racing and the Sonic movie. And guess what we're talking about today?
Sonic Boom ratings?
Oh, we can't even do that anymore.
That's not even on air anymore. It got cancelled.
I need to know how many people are watching it on Hulu. Quick.
I would just say whoever tweets you saying they're watching it, that's the amount, because I can't imagine it reaches any wider than that, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, if anyone's listening,
Hulu boom.
Right.
So, oh my gosh! Firstly, this is the first time we have all been in a virtual room in a long, long time. My name is Jamie Eggman. We have Sonic Pox, aka Uncle Poxy. How are you, sir?
Hi, I'm good. It's interesting to know that the next time I'm on a podcast, we're talking about a variety of topics that we haven't spoken about yet.
It feels like forever. How's Misadventures going? How's...
Why do you fuck? You know what's strange? I'm getting more people asking me where Misadventures is, and I'm like, that was nearly 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago.
I know, 4 years ago, you thought you would have done 1 episode by now.
I know. Well, actually, we can say. I don't think we said this. You can see a fully storyboarded version of episode 1 over on Chris Runs with Scissors, Chris RWS, his YouTube channel, where he talks about the awful downfall of that series. And
That's
interesting. There you go. After all this time, you can finally see the first episode of Sonic Misadventures as a storyboard on a rando Sonic fans channel.
Oh,
Amazing.
so when's the full version coming out?
Yeah.
Well done, David.
So,
well done. I hope you're proud of that
In
one.
summary, since we last spoke, you Misadventures and all the Sonic Pox animation projects are going super well and have all been released. We also have we also have David the Lurker. Hello. I remember
Hi.
you. How are you, sir?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
such-
doing pretty good. You know,
Oh,
just hanging out.
just
it's
lurking
May.
around.
I am lurking, but you know, it's getting warmer. It's getting nice out. You know, just spending time. Definitely not avoiding talking about any projects that I haven't finished yet at all.
I was just saying, when we last caught up, I just want to know, how is Big's Big Fish and Adventure 3 going?
Oh, what? I'm not familiar with this.
Because that was coming
wait
out
for
for the 25th anniversary, or
December 2016 was the
That was
scheduled
it?
release day. Yes.
and what's the response been since that?
Oh, I mean, a lot of people messaged me. They said they loved it. They said they hated it. They said they wept openly when they saw Big the Cat.
So great. So in summary, similar to Sonic Pox, all your planned
Yeah.
projects that we talked about a year ago are still in a great
They're-
place.
Listen,
since then.
when at least when I planned a
Uh-huh.
anniversary thing, mine came out on the 24th anniversary.
Right. Well, technically, BBFA3 is still in development.
That's believable.
Well, I mean, it technically is. There's a guy who's programming. He messaged me and he said I'm gonna start it back up soon, so that's good.
Guys, confirmed. It's still. But it's not all about you, David. It's not all about you, David.
All right.
We also have the Sonic Fearless Sega Scourge.
Ooh. Hi, thank you.
Ooh.
Thank you. I appreciate
sir.
it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty good also.
And
I
again-
took some time. Oh, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, like, obviously a year ago you were talking about how you hadn't done a video in a while. I was just wondering where you were.
For a while I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try and focus on other projects. I had this thing called Sega Cosmos that I was working on. Still
Yeah.
working on it. And I've decided, you know what? I'm going to take a step back from other projects, minus random videos where I stand in front of a camera, and try and make some theory videos again. Return to
What?
just working on my channel as a whole. I can't really talk about that because it's going to be pretty different when it arrives. So
I mean, to
That's
be fair, out of everyone here, you have the most recent video upload.
guess, yeah.
I'm
What
here.
it's worth.
Um,
Alright.
Exactly.
Jay,
You know, it's funny you say that, Jordan, because that's a question I get a lot on internet now when I post Sonic Show stuff.
Oh, again?
Yeah, who are you? Yes, and obviously going back to the host, like I said, I'm Jamie Eggman. A year ago, I said I apologise for not posting a video in a while. It's been a year since. I'm still sorry that I haven't really posted a video in a while, but we have been more active in the last month. So, you know, that's
Yes, we
exciting.
have been. We've got a lot of things
And
planned. That's
Talking
creating a
about
focus.
Scourge was just talking about something he was working on that didn't happen. Like, it seems to be a running theme with our group of friends. Was that the thing that you were going to promote in the book that I didn't finish?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, there's a book. I forgot there was another book coming. out.
All right.
So,
Hey, do you just want the script to be BFA3 in your book? Then I can say
Yes.
it's out, right?
yeah, because
Okay.
that would add a good chunk of pages, to be fair. So,
I can take just a bunch of pictures of me in a froggy shirt.
that's just not necessary. But guys, basically in summary, yes, the Sonic Show has been away. Yes, David's projects, my projects, Sonic Pox's projects, Sega Scourge's projects have been on hold for a year. But
Jesus
this is
Christ!
the...
You could have started a very depressing opening to this
Right.
podcast.
But the point is, guys, this is the start of something amazing. We're back. We're all full of energy, as you can tell. And we're so pumped because, yes, as fans, we have a history of delaying projects indefinitely, but we're not alone because Paramount.
That was a great. That was a great.
Yeah, that deserves a round of applause.
But I wish I had one.
Applause sound effect here.
Okay. Paramount have announced that they're delaying their Sonic project as well into the next year. Hopefully they're a bit more committed to their new date of Valentine's Day than we are. I'm gonna just get my 2 cents out on this. I think I discussed when we did a podcast like a year ago. They just started filming, and I was like, I don't like it. The trailer came out.
A lot's happened since then.
Yeah, so the trailers. And so we've seen design leaks, poster leaks, concept leaks. With Chris Pratt which was too ambitious for Paramount. And then the trailer came out, and we won't go over the trailer in detail because if you're listening to this podcast, you have definitely already discussed that to death. But I think the general consensus I heard around was that Sonic, what the F, and Jim Carrey is going to save the movie. Then, following the like a week, I think maybe 2 weeks, maybe less than that, after the trailer came out, the director basically said, "We hear you. The design is gross. We're going to fix it." A bit frustrating on my part because there was no way they could not have seen that coming as a reaction. I refuse to believe that they were that convinced that looked good. Like, it was the most unsurprising reaction ever, but okay. And I remember saying to someone, because they said, I'm sure everyone here has had that thing that we're known in our real life group of friends as the Sonic guy. So when the trailer came out, everybody was like, "Oh, it's a Sonic trailer. What do you think?" And I was speaking to someone in church actually, and they were like, "Oh, Sonic fan," and they were like, "Oh, they said they're going to redesign it. Are you happy?" And I said, "There is no possible way they're going to redesign it by November." Because there's just too much. Yeah. It's either a minor design change, or they have started work on this before the trailer, and this was just a huge, slightly risky publicity stunt. Because there's no way they could redesign a whole CGI character, make it fit within the context of the scenes and everything by November. Turns out that's correct. You can't do that by November, so they have delayed it. There's so much to unpack from what I've just said. But my general vibe I'm getting from the internet is that people are reacting positively to the delay.
Yes.
Are we feeling the same? Are we feeling annoyed that this is such a cock up?
Do we want to go around the table? Like, just get 2 cents from everybody?
We'll go with you first, Boxy.
No, go with me last.
Oh. Let's go around the table.
It's good.
Don't want to be talked to.
Okay. I was one of the people saying that, I don't mind Jim Carrey as Robotnik. I get that they're trying to put the film in live-action environment. They're trying to say, it's Sonic in the real world. So, Robotnik's meant to be human, so I don't really mind, Jim. I don't care. He looks okay in the end shot at the trailer. And I am hopeful for the design. I think that if the design's tweaked, then it could make a drastic impact on the reception of the film in the community, because I don't think a lot of moviegoers will care. A lot of just random people, they won't really care. It's the Sonic. This could kind of potentially save the film. And I saw a few people saying things like, David, I believe you were on Twitter at someone, and they were arguing about how the delay of the film is going to impact it negatively. And I think you were one of the people to say that there were other movies, very famous movies, that have been delayed, and it impacted it positively, like Titanic, for instance. Right. And kind of shut it down. And I think that's a good standpoint. I think that just because it's a delay doesn't mean it's bad. And what comes out the other end will probably be substantially. And hey, maybe this gives them time to throw in stuff people wanted, like Crush 40, because I heard that was a thing for a while. People were like, put Crush 40 in the film, because it's not Sonic without Crush 40.
Yeah, there was a petition.
Maybe it'll happen.
Johnny Giuelli actually saw and was like, yo, hell yeah, I want to do that.
It might happen, honestly. So that's my 2 cents on it. We can go around. Yeah.
David?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I've been very skeptical of this movie since before. I feel like even before it was announced, back when it was like maybe there will one day be a Sonic movie. I'm like, no, please no. But I mean, them redesigning it, I I think it'll help to a certain degree, but that only is addressing one part of the film, and it's not addressing the story or what it's what's supposed to be happening inside of it. If Sonic looks more like Sonic, I think there will be more people who will go, "Oh yeah, let's go see it because I recognize Sonic the Hedgehog." And yeah, I think the general going audience will be more inclined to go see it if Sonic looks more like a traditional video game version of himself. But I don't think that automatically makes it a good movie, and that's really what the story is going to make or break it. And I don't know, are we touching at all on like possible spoilers slash leaks? Because I know there was an AMA done a bit ago, or on Reddit, someone saw a test screening. And
Yeah,
film to a
that's
certain
looking
degree.
like it's pretty. That's looking like it's probably real now. Like people
Yeah.
were skeptical, but
Yeah,
when the
because I
trailer
don't
came out,
know. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if we're supposed to talk about it on here or not, or if it's
If it's relevant, yeah, then go for it.
right. Well, I guess because I was going to point out like that I guess skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear it. The scene in the trailer with Robotnik in what looks like the Mushroom Hill Zone is apparently like the end of the movie or a post-credit scene, which does imply like this is all in the real world. You don't see Sonic's world until the last 20 seconds, and that to me seems like a big waste. And just fixing Sonic's look doesn't fix the core problem of why isn't this a movie about Sonic the Hedgehog? Why does it feel like you're embarrassed you're making a movie about Sonic the Hedgehog? Why does it feel like you have to twist your arm to make Sonic look Sonic? What do you really want to do? But
yeah.
I mean, no one will really know until we see the movie itself. So I
Yeah.
want to hold out hope, but I have a very hard time doing that. But I mean, I'm still going to go see it, probably more
Well,
than
yeah.
once, because people will drag me to it.
Oh yeah.
Indeed.
I
There's
mean,
anything to take away from it. If people hate the Two Worlds canon, now they're going to hate it even more. Am I right?
This movie's not canon.
Or is it?
It's the movie universe. I'll just want to interject before we go to Poxy, but what I found most interesting about the redesign aspect of it is that when I can't remember the name of the guy, but the guy who directed the recent Detective Pikachu film, which I recently saw and thought it was okay, it was fine, nothing amazing, but he was basically saying how they spent and as you would expect, years in concept and design of how the Pokemon would look, how they would, like there was just so much time. And it's just interesting to me that to make sure it was perfect, that people would react well to it, that, there was a lot of, whereas in this, I'm just, in my personal history.
With the Detective Pikachu movie, from what I heard, not only was some of the concepts designed by a fan online who was very well received with his realistic Pokemon designs.
Yeah.
They did some of that.
Yes.
But also hired a Pokemon specialist to be on set to make sure everything was perfect.
Yeah, there was
this
a member from the Pokemon company on every day.
So you have that approach, and then you have this approach very publicly, which is the fact that you get a design so wrong, but they commit to it to the point that they release the trailer of how it's going to come out, and then say, actually, even though we've released an actual trailer that has been shown in cinemas before other films, we're going to change
Pikachu, for God's sake.
We're going to change the whole design because we got it wrong, and it just comes across as like, what?
It's quite arrogant.
It's arrogant, and to me it interpreted as like, oh, this just continues that perpetuation that people who do Sonic don't know what people want. The games have had a horrible history, a reputation for that with some of the stuff they put out, and now the movies has that same reputation of like, we saw leaks, everyone hated it, it came out, they were like, no, and then it just, at the very last minute, we're gonna change everything we've done. It comes across as very odd to me and very rushed and last minute to me, which is a very odd thing that I haven't personally seen the movie, but I will let Poxy share his thoughts.
Here we go, boys. I've been building up with this for fucking months. So the speculation of the Sonic movie is mad. I think everyone can agree that no one was fully on board when they found out it was a mix between live action and CGI, because the reputation of not only those kind of films, but video game movies in general, you're sticking to, primary styles of film that do not do well together. And whilst we're hearing, shootings being done, we've got the directors, we've got the cast, blah blah blah. Then suddenly a Detective Pikachu trailer drops, and we're all like, "Oh well, fuck, all right. well this looks good." And Tim Miller and this and that have done Sonic games before, blah blah blah. We just talked about all this stuff, all the designs and whatever, and having people say that it was a publicity stunt. I believed it for a sec. I took a step back. That is absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like it just kind of makes me mad when you think. Do you guys remember they put a tweet with Izuka and Aaron Weber? They said we went, and they said, we went to Tim Miller and Jeff Alice. Were like, we went to Sonic Team and had a discussion, and Aaron Weber was like, we gave you the feedback, whatever. All right. So they are fully aware that people do not like what they've seen, leaks or whatever.
Yeah.
And they still went for it. And it's like, okay, there is a massive problem here. And then they carried on. And you got to admit, because I think it was either Jeff Fowler or Tim Miller, there's a rumor going around that they were the ones who leaked or I think it's one of those two guys, leaked the test footage for Deadpool. Or the original Deadpool, which is why people started to go, oh, well, they've done something like this before, not to this scale, not to the point where you're putting it before movies. You've made promotional posters for different languages, and in every single aspect, people are trying to like cherry pick bits where they're like, he looks good from that angle, if the light's right. Can I just point out in the trailer, you will see massive changes in scale for Sonic.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, the shot where he's in the car, he looks about half the size of Tom, and then you see the shot of him in the roof.
When he's on the road and he kind of kneels down, he looks tiny.
Yeah, but even when you see him on the rooftop, he goes up to James Marsden's knees. I'm like, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah, but even in that trailer, not just the scale, but like there's different scenes where it looks like a completely different animation team worked on it. There's different air shots where they don't even look like the same model. That they look like vaguely similar, but look so different.
This is where like I wanted a bulk of what I wanted to say, like because I'm an animator professionally, believe it or not. I'm actually like going to I'm just about to get my degree, people who don't know or care. So with a lot of the shots from this trailer, obviously everyone knows it's motion captured, right? Everyone, that's not new information.
I didn't even know that.
However, some scenes, however, are hand animated. Like Jamie, I take it like if we compare the infamous meow scene, right, to the shot of Sonic on the road where he says "Gotta go fast." That shot is hand animated. Which is why everyone goes, that shot looks really good, because it's hand animated and everything's crafted to have very well flowing lines and good facial structure. Whilst the meow scene is not only body mocapped, it's facial mocapped as well.
Yep.
You got Ben Schwartz doing the facial motion capture and an actor doing the normal fucking motion capture. So when I heard that there was when there was I heard that there was a redesign, I was like, oh my god, okay, this can either be amazing or it can be god awful. People are going like, they can't change proportions because of the shots and whatever, and I'm like, no, well, they can. They just got to make them bigger in some essence, smaller in some like that. Like,
it will take time, but it's doable.
Yeah, but when I heard it was November, I was like, okay, if they got to the point, because if we compare the motion poster that came out in December 2018, something like that, he had no socks. He had socks in the trailer, and we were like, "Oh God, okay, that's immediately great." And we there are multiple different actors for it, and then even now we see from that one picture that was released in the new date that he has gloves. I'm like, okay, these are obviously easy parts that are fixed, but then it goes into facial reconstruction, color design, fur maps, shaders, lighting. There's a reason why there's such a huge animation team. I mean, there's teams for animators, then there's teams for lighting, rigging, shading, texture mapping, bump mapping, map painting, and that's all put into one bit. So, but it also got me a bit annoyed when, you see all the Sonic fans going, oh, change it, it's disgusting. And then he says, all right, we'll change it. And then they go, oh, the VFX artists are going to be overpaid. Oh! I'm like, bro, listen, if they didn't, they are already over budget on this $90 million movie about Sonic the Hedgehog. They're already over budget. If they didn't think they could do it, they wouldn't do it. Which is why it made me happy when the delay happened, because now no one can moan. I agree with David. I don't think it's going to fix a lot of the other aspects of the movie, but it will. Like no one who went to go see Endgame is going, I'm going to watch the Sonic movie day of release because it looks like a good movie. No, Sonic fans are going to go see it because it's Sonic the Hedgehog on the big screen. Why the hell not? So what's the one thing you want? You want Sonic to look good. That's all you want. You don't care if he doesn't sound the same. You don't care about that. You just want him to act like Sonic and look like Sonic. And this is where the biggest thing. This is my last point, which is rumored, and this is the little string of hope I've got for this, which could be absolutely pants bullshit, whatever. So, and I'm pretty sure this isn't anything new. So that image with Sonic holding his little goal sign has a striking resemblance to the art style of one Tyson Hesse. Right? And has anyone else seen that someone put in the replies saying that it looks like Tyson Hesse's art style? And Tyson replied with an image of Iron Man from the I Am Iron Man scene. Which, again, could be bullshit, but it does... That's too many correlating things. And the reason that's such a big deal is because if they got a fan concept artist for Detective Pikachu, and bear in mind, this also happened for Spyro. I know it's not a movie, but it happened for a video game. A person who was making 3D models of Spyro characters was brought on as a concept designer. We had the guy from Detective Pikachu, who was a concept designer, who even messaged or like responded with the original Twitter thread saying, "Hey, I'd love to help out. Can we get in contact?" He said that to Jeff Fowler. But if Tyson Hesse, again, I'm pulling at all the straws. I've run out of straws to pull. If Tyson Hesse is even having some influence of Sonic's design, because we know that he's been doing great in the comics and in stuff like directing Mania Adventures and TSR Overdrive. That focus on not only the distinct vision, but also what fans, because they just need to understand you aren't major what from moviegoers, you're going to get them from the hundreds of thousands of people that have told you that you're doing it wrong. These are the people you're trying to get into your movie.
My only concern with, I agree with all of that. It's just, if they're like having Tyson Hesse on, which would be great because he's very talented and very attractive close up, but but then also, and you have the guy from the Pokemon film you said like tweeted saying, "Oh, you want a hand helping out?" A film less, even if you count the delay, less than a year away, should not have people on Twitter offering to help out. That shows a sign of a film in trouble, and also the fact that if getting people like Tyson Hesse or people who have a history working with Sonic shouldn't be brought on at the last resort phase, like the oh crap phase. That should have been part of the very beginning phase, in my opinion. And the only other thing that I think about when you say about who you're making this design for isn't the wider audience; it's for like dedicated Sonic fans.
I completely forgot. There's just one more point. Go,
and then I'll finish my point. Yeah, go.
Okay, so and I'll be quick. So People saying that big redesigns can't happen for big budget movies. Have you guys ever heard of a show called Imaginary Mary?
No.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was a show that had the woman from the Looney Tunes movie interact with a imaginary character. I just put it in the chitter chatter stuff for the staff people, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. That had a very interesting design.
Yeah.
The executives didn't like it, so they spent 4 months and they completely overhauled the character design, and the change is actually pretty substantial.
Yes.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, what the heck were they thinking the first time?
Yeah, I
it's
saw
kinda
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible. We see that these
Oh.
things are possible and real.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I
I agree with that. So yeah, these, and again with delay, I think that makes it more tangible as a thing for us.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
think it's going to happen. The thing about the design thing is, yes, they're designing this character primarily, you could say, for the Sonic fans, but however large you think the current Sonic fan base is, that is not enough to make a return on the $90 million. There's not that we're a big audience, but like we are not. So you need to appeal, obviously, to the wider audience. And I think the main people that will even be remotely interested is the people who are, my age, who are currently going to the cinema, watching things. And they don't play Sonic now, but they'll remember Sonic from their childhood, and they'll remember because they were around in the 90s when he was a big deal. I think those are the people who will be like, oh yeah, Sonic. Those people who I've spoken to, they don't follow Sonic. They don't know what he's up to now. They don't care, but they've seen this trailer, and without having any reference of what modern Sonic looks like, they know that design in that trailer looks weird. And that's the only thing they've commented on. And it's not because he doesn't look like current Sonic. It's not because his eyes are the wrong color or his arms are blue. It's because he just, as a design, looks off, because he's got a manly body with this head on it, and it just doesn't look right, regardless of what. And just from a design point of view, without any history of Sonic's design, it just looks.
It looks
bad.
Unappealing.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that you would be happy to sit there for an hour and a half watching this guy run around making quips with his weird goat nipple back spikes. Like, seriously. That just looks really strange.
So I'm surprised. I just want to say one more thing. Sorry. It's just, a lot of the trailer, from the music, from Jim Carrey and everything, seems to be hugely selling to people from the 90s. It seems to be appealing to those people who grew up and they'll have a nostalgic love for that time. So why does not the design of the character fit in with something that would appeal to those people who would, even if they don't, they remember or think Sonic would look like now? Like, it just baffles me. Anyway, sorry, David.
Yeah, no. I wanted to rewind a little bit when Pox brought up the Tim Miller Deadpool connection, because it's one thing that confuses me. Now, I know Tim Miller is just a producer; he's not directing it. But when that Deadpool footage was leaked, the whole point was we want to get public opinion for the film, because it was in development. And it looked like it was going to be killed off because, we're trying to make a movie that is closer to the tone of the original source material of what Deadpool is. And movie execs were like, we're not sure if this is going to work because we need to appeal to a larger audience, and Deadpool is a very specific thing and that could be offensive, etc., blah, blah, blah. And then the footage was like, no, you can do this. And that's what people got excited. So Tim Miller, who directed that, it was all about, and Ryan Reynolds and everyone involved, was we want to make Deadpool as close in tone to the original source material as possible. Of course, there'll be changes because you're adapting from one form of media to another, but we want it to be close to that. But then with Sonic the Hedgehog, it's like, I certainly don't think that they would have leaked it, because they were, if someone was trying to leak that stuff, it was for the opposite effect of please kill this. And if Tim Miller was behind it, then there's no reason for him to leak something, because if he's a producer, he's in charge to a certain degree, and he could just change it. What?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he was the one behind the leak.
No,
I'm saying that it was like the reason that, because I didn't even believe it, but it was the conspiracy of he purposely made a really bad design to create buzz.
Right, but I guess the idea is that if Tim Miller was so in tune with what Deadpool was supposed to be and wanted to make sure a movie came out that would work for Deadpool fans and was close to that source material, to then be put into Sonic, it's very odd for him to go, I don't care. Like, oh, just make a Sonic movie. Because it does feel like I know the director has said that he's very much a Sonic fan, and the people who are working on it are like, oh, we're very much Sonic fans. But there was somebody sitting there who is going, let's make this not as Sonic as let's not have this be as Sonic as it should be.
Yeah.
And I just find it very odd, especially in the context of the broader spectrum of movie making. The fact that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has made billions and billions of dollars, and part of it is it's being run by a man, Kevin Feige, who is very much a comic book nerd, and the idea is that these movies are meant to appeal to the fans, but also a larger audience, and is very much in tune with what the original comics were, and that has made so much money. And then other projects which are like, we're going to change as many things as we can, are not as successful. There's just this weird disconnect, and I don't know why it's hard for
Offensive.
I don't know why it's hard for certain movie makers to have that click in their mind, because there's evidence that, oh, you stay true, you appeal, yes, change things that you need to, but if you're closer to it, you're going to succeed, you're going to make the money. And then if you try to go way off because you want to do your own thing, like, so many times it just goes off the rails, and like video game movies in general, that's sort of been the case.
So
I guess I also wanted to bring up just one little thing. The last time that I can think of when somebody was brought in at the last minute to fix a thing was when Yasuhara was brought into Sonic Extreme.
Oh God!
And we know how that worked. So,
okay. I mean,
In
a bit of a harsh example.
Is voicing Shadow. Don't touch me, motherfucker.
Gas control.
We'll move on to the next topic in a sec, but I guess I think it's worth saying to everyone listening that, well, for me personally anyway, that I do believe that everyone working on this film wants to make a good film. I don't believe for a second that anyone involved in this project, except for maybe the very higher up, like Paramount themselves, but everyone involved in this project isn't in it for a cash grab. They're all creative people who I do believe care about the content they produce. So I do believe that, and I believe they do have the best intentions in their hearts, and they are trying to make a film that not only us horribly critique-driven bastards of fans will enjoy, but also the general audience will enjoy as well, which just makes it more interesting to me. And I hopefully one day, maybe long after this film is out, we'll find out why this happened. But I don't think we're going to have a public and genuine answer on that for a while. That happened. So that quick topic, which only took us like, I don't know, a while to discuss. Only 37 minutes. We'll now move. Cool. We'll move into the main topic, which is, guys, this is the year. Finally, it's the game we've all been waiting for, the kart racer we've all been waiting for. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled is out next month. Team Sonic Racing has come out, and I know all of us have been playing it. Maybe David. The rest of us have been playing it. Playing it a lot. And I'm sure we have a lot of opinions. The reviews have been generally positive, I believe.
Yes.
I haven't seen what sales are like. I don't know if we've got any sales numbers yet.
Ding, ding, ding. I do.
Go on.
We do have UK sales charts. I don't think I have a number.
That's fine.
For the UK sales charts of the ending of May, Team Sonic Racing has surpassed them all. It's beating out games like Days Gone, FIFA 19, Mortal Kombat 11, Red Dead Redemption 2, Division 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's currently highest selling game, I think, in the month of May.
That's amazing. That's
Cool.
Well done, everyone.
Well done, Sonic.
Sumo Digital.
Ooh.
I think I will go around in a group again and discuss our thoughts. I will say mine briefly and then probably touch them again. I liked it. I don't love it.
Yes.
I
Right.
enjoy Transformed more. Transformed is my favorite out of the series, if we're counting the Sumo Digital races. A few reasons why. I think because I went from a Sonic game that I loved how each lap the track changed. I really enjoyed that, things like that, which just doesn't have anymore. I think I actually surprisingly really like the team gimmick in terms of like the strip, like you racing behind other person in first place and passing over items to each other. But I think why I haven't fallen in love with it is because I find the track selection and character roster to be, it just feels better than previous games. Like you've got basically 4 or 5 areas, each with 3 tracks themed to them. I don't find all the areas to be particularly. This is a game to me that should pay more, like a love letter to Sonic games, and I feel like this doesn't do it as much. I don't feel like all the tracks feel very like they're loosely based on Sonic games, but not really. Like there's the ice world, but it's sort of it could be any ice world. The levels, the tracks I enjoy more are like the ones that are paying, like the one with King Boom Boo and like where he appears in the track and stuff. The ones that are paying more obvious homage to actual levels, I enjoy those more. Whereas the ones where I'm just racing around a generic landscape that could be anywhere don't appeal to me as much. And so yeah, I think it's really fun. I really enjoy it, but I've got to admit, when Crash comes out next month, I'm probably going to switch to that. Anyone want to take up the field?
Who wants to go? Me?
I haven't got nearly as many opinions as I did on the Sonic movie, so I can go real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Kind of in the same boat as Jamie. I think I might like it a little bit more though, because so all the same points that Jamie pretty much said. I'm really surprised as to how much I really enjoyed the team gimmick, because I didn't think I thought it was going to be, oh great, well at least we have the option to race as single cards, but I actually vastly prefer playing as a team. It's just really creative how and you get some really epic moments sometimes where you could be lagging behind and you get a really good item, but then you're following someone's slipstream and you fling past them, and then you get your team ultimate. There's just a lot of satisfaction in that. With the tracks, Jamie's right. It's being plagued by the same thing that happened in the original Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing, where they had themes and 3 tracks below them. There needs to be more here. I think that is the big problem. There needs to be more, and there can be. I mean, where's the Death Egg stage from the original All Stars Racing, and where's Starlight Carnival, where's Sky Sanctuary, and I know they all had their own gimmicks and stuff. The character roster again, very strange. You've got the original Team Dark, the original Team Sonic, Team Rose, but with some Chow, which I'm not really mad about. Team Vector, which is literally, why did you get rid of Charmy and Espio, but bring back Vector? And why do you just have Blaze and Silver, but didn't do anything else with them? Then you got Team Eggman, that's Eggman, Metal Sonic, and Zavok? For some weird reason? That he's like, if you can restore your honor, you can work with him. I don't know. The story mode's something else I think we should touch on a bit later. But there are things holding, the game back. I think it's amazing for it has one of the best Sonic soundtracks I've ever heard.
Really? Do you think?
Single song. I think every single song is a banger. 100%.
I mean, there was only one that really peeved me, which was, I'm not sure if anyone's heard it, but it's their Casino Park remix.
Oh wait, are you talking about not the one with the electric guitars? It's the
not Bingo Pie. Yeah, the really
okay.
one. I didn't like that one.
Okay, yeah, no, I can agree on that. But everything else, I loved. But and
Yeah.
you know the car customization, which I think is really really cool. I do think it works a lot better when you're with people, like when you're with real people. There's definitely things that need to be fixed through patches. Online has issues. The story mode again is something that's whatever. There's just not a lot here. Like they've taken all these things and they've tried to make things out of them. Like they've instead of making more things, they just take the ones they got, cut them in half, and make more. So I think Team Sonic Racing is better than I expected.
Yes.
But it could be better, 100%.
Okay. Fair play. I guess I'll say my bit. I, of course, did a whole review of this game over on my channel. Plug, check out my channel. YouTube for the full TSR review. I'll cover some things I didn't touch on in the review because I wasn't sure if I was allowed to, but I heard about this game from way back. I heard through a leak, a friend of mine and things.
I was so mad.
At the time, I wasn't aware that it was going to be a solo Sonic-only racing game. I thought it was a follow-up to the All-Stars games. And, Izuka was like, we want to focus on, a purely homegrown Sonic racing game just for that franchise, which is great. That's fine. Like Jamie said, I don't know if it really compares as well to, like, Transformed and things. A lot of the mechanics that I really enjoyed, like the boat mechanic, it was kind of a kick in the face playing Ocean View, and the track didn't break apart and I couldn't go in the water as a boat. That was one of the coolest parts of that track. They felt like kind of stilted versions of the original. That's not to say, on a positive on the tracks, that's not to say I didn't enjoy how, I know that there was each zone and 3 tracks per zone, but I kind of liked how each track built towards something in the area, but you're going towards it. Like the beginning of the Cool Edge track builds towards you ending up in the volcano that's in the background. That was cool. And how the Rooftop Run tracks build higher and higher until you're eventually in the sky. And I thought that's a cool dynamic. Like you're moving through the area in a way. That's a neat idea. But I will agree that they kind of do pale in comparison to some of the Transform tracks. There's only like a select handful that I really enjoyed. But they might be more due to cosmetic fan reasons, like Mother Wisp showing up in Mother's Canyon and stuff. The Team Boost mechanic, I enjoyed, and it was extremely satisfying, but they weren't all-star moves. So it was nice that every character had their own remix for it and things, and they are very rewarding and satisfying to execute in comparison to the all-star moves, which were just an item box drop, and anyone could get it. It didn't feel rewarding, so I do like the meter mechanic and using teamwork to build the meter, and then you get your reward, the team. On the topic of, like, there's something I really wanted to bring up quickly, and it's more so to do with, like, Sumo Digital as a developer. I find it amazing in a way that I've noticed in recent years that Sega and Sonic Team are, in my opinion, one of the most budgeted developers I've ever seen, and yet they still managed to pull it off somehow. Like with Mania, it was a team of fans, of course, so I don't really know what pay was there. Sumo Digital, they have a bit of a rep. I won't go into different things, obviously, but it obviously must have cost them substantially less to have Team Sonic Racing made. Just to throw in there, little birdie, through people I knew who were working there, a lot of Team Sonic Racing was actually made by interns who were on 3-month contracts. And they somehow managed to, some were kept on for an extra 4 months, and they somehow just slapped it together and it worked. So I do applaud them for that. That is impressive. That what came out the other end is a very satisfying and enjoyable. Overall, I enjoyed it. I'm still playing it now. I love playing it with friends. It's definitely a game that's great with friends. And does it compare to the All-Star games? I don't know. But then again, Jamie, you're not allowed to talk because you hate Alex Kidd. And I'm quoting an old
hate Alex Kidd?
Opinions. Yeah, Jamie, why do you hate Alex Kidd? You got a problem with Alex Kidd?
Because he's dumb.
Yeah.
There would be no Sonic without Alex Kidd.
I think there are
pillock.
there are some
You
gimmicks,
heard me.
like we talked about the team racing gimmick, which again I do really love. And I one thing I must admit I do like, this is probably the only racing game that kart racing game that I can think of. I haven't played them all in the world. The one that I can think of anyway, that genuinely you can be near the back of the pack in like the last lap and you still have a fair shout at being in first place. Like the way you can go from back to forth, like you're continuously changing positions all the time, whereas like in other games, like if you're good you can make it your way to the front and you'll stay there, but this one, something can happen and you will be right at the back for whatever reason, but that does not throw you out the competition whatsoever. And I so that makes the races more interesting, I think. But yeah, it's just lack of content, and like I think it's the tracks as well. Like again, must remember the last time I properly played Transformed, like in the story mode or whatever it was called, it was a long time ago, so my memory will probably have a nostalgic, like, happy view of it. But like I just don't. I feels like when I was playing for all the cups in that game, in some races you'd have to like do certain challenges like this one, and then you'd use the things to unlock the characters, etc. But
I will say, I do think Team Sonic Racing is the most beautiful looking racing game they've had. Because I looked back at like footage from even Transformed, and the model quality and the lighting quality isn't really there.
But then you've also got to take this. It's a different generation of hardware. I think that
doesn't matter.
I think it plays into it because like
no, it doesn't matter. You can have some PS3 games that look better than PS4 games.
I guess but I think for their respective times they look good. But
nah.
No. I just think like, but when I was playing through Transform, I felt like whenever I was doing a different stage, it didn't feel like I was doing the same track 17 times, like throughout that mode. Like I was always doing a challenge on a new track every single time.
Well, that's
like,
because you were.
They had more to work with in the All Stars series because they had all this vast roster of Sega IPs, didn't they? They could have a huge plethora of tracks.
Yeah, but
Sonic is huge, and yet, like you said, they didn't fully utilize it because there's so many more tracks they could have done with just Sonic.
Could have done.
But Transformed also didn't have the whole thing where there were three races determined to one theme. They had that in the original game, and then they got rid of it after realizing, maybe people would like to see different locations rather than Seaside Hill 3 times.
And again, it probably is a budget thing, potentially, because it's easier to reuse assets. And I even noticed between completely different areas, there are very similar gimmicks that were just repainted things, like swinging things. It was all very much, this is clearly the same thing from that track, but with a different coat of paint on it. Very barely different coat of paint on it. So like I could tell there was a lot of recycling going on throughout the whole game. And also, not to compare it, but unfortunately, Sega, if you're gonna release a kids family-orientated kart racing game the month before the other big kids-orientated kart racing game, you are gonna get compared. For a game that is a remake of the original, the Crash Bandicoot one, like and then clearly has had more money put into it, but the presentation to me is just on two different levels. Like you can tell that this Team Sonic Racing game is, even I would say compared to Transformed, I find the presentation in Sonic Team Racing to be very clean and efficient, which is great, but not very fun. I don't find it very interesting. I don't.
Bit rude. Okay.
It just doesn't. It doesn't appeal to me. It's fine. It just doesn't.
Right.
So yeah, it's
just. Bit rude.
Shut up, Josh. But
this is a sponsored message from the Sonic Show.
Go buy Crash Team Racing.
It just looks more fun to me. I don't know. It just seems more appealing to me.
I struggled so hard with Crash Team Racing when I was a kid.
It's not an easy game.
I could not figure the boost out for the life. I just thought there wasn't one for the longest time.
Best racing game ever? Toy Story Racer, just saying it.
Yes! Oh my god!
Remake.
Like, I'm genuinely considering, like, if I can find it in the PlayStation Store, I'm going to download that and start playing it again. But no, Team Sonic Racing for me, they're probably one of really solid mechanics, really solid gameplay. It's just that everything else around it is very underwhelming, I guess. which means they've got the core right, and that's what should matter. So there is a really good game there, I guess.
Yeah, but you can't keep people coming just from a base. Like even Mario games, you know, they have other stuff surrounding it.
Yeah, and
Well, they do DLC.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's the thing,
DLC.
like,
For
there are
God's sake!
There are so many tracks in Mario Kart, and each one has a unique theme. And yes, they do that thing where they just remake tracks from old games. That's cool. I would have been happy in this game if they brought back where everyone they could physically do it without, like, there's some tracks I think in Transform that you can't drive the whole way through.
Yeah, you know,
But,
like Death Egg
you could-
Zone. That
yeah.
used to be DLC for every game,
Yeah,
but
So
now
you
it's just
could-
not here.
And then, but you could bring all those tracks back in, but because they've only brought like a few back, and again, we're talking there's so few tracks, and one whole theme is reused tracks. So, I
Two.
don't know. Yeah, it's
Three.
just like,
All of
Three.
them, they all have reused, I think. A bit.
No. Just
the
the
Seaside
ones that
Wave
came back.
Ocean.
Seaside. It was Seaside Hill, Final Fortress, and the casino stage are
Oh,
all
yeah.
returning tracks.
I think
That's
that,
9 out of the 21 stages are reused tracks.
yeah. So,
By
and-
ratio, that's less than Mario Kart. So Team Sonic Racing has a ratio of more original tracks than Mario Kart 8, even though Mario Kart 8 has 20 original tracks, and Sonic Team Racing has 21 tracks total.
so yeah, I guess it's just. Yeah, I'm actually gonna ask David for his opinion, even though I don't think he's played it. But
What
but
you've seen, David? How do you like Sonic and Sega All-Star
but
Racing
before I
Transform?
went
The
over to
PlayStation
it.
4.
I think it is a good game. It's just I can't pretend that I didn't love Transformed more. That's it.
And that's
but
okay,
David,
honestly.
as an
Yes.
outsider,
As an outsider, that's right. I am part of the out. Yeah, I haven't played it. I haven't played it yet. I intend on getting it at some point. I just haven't rushed out to get it. Other people who I am affiliated with got review codes, and I did not. So there you
Now
go.
we got broken street date things.
Yeah, no, I mean I've heard some of the music. I've watched some of the leaked. Well, it's not leaked anymore. I did. Shh, don't tell anyone I watched the story when it got leaked.
That's okay,
so
so
I don't
did
worry
I.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean it looks fine enough, but it doesn't look like it's any better than Transformed. And
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
from
not.
yeah, because everyone that I've talked to about it, I haven't heard anyone tell me that it's better than that game, and it just makes me wonder because we've come a long way since Sonic R on the Saturn, and Sonic R has 5 levels or 5 racetracks, and they're all themes, but they're not actual places. And so I know by the time you hit the All Stars racing games, it's like, oh, you can recognize these places, and it does seem a little weird that on a Sonic specific game that they'd only pick 7 locations when the Sonic the Hedgehog universe is so wide and varied. And it's not like this game is afraid to touch on different eras, because I mean I see that there's a section marked Sandopolis, that's Sonic 3, and there's stuff from Heroes, and there's Unleashed, the roof, like they're touching on things. It's just odd that they aren't trying to touch on more, and I mean I guess it is a time and budget thing, which I can understand.
True.
But then I guess the question is why.
That is something
I don't know.
that is something I do want to just quickly say. I think my favorite theme in the whole game is the sand theme.
Same.
because every stage, not only is it original, it's a reference to something to do with Sonic.
Except the Clockwork Pyramid one. I don't know what the hell.
No, that's Forces.
What?
That's Forces. Do you not remember the cog
Yeah,
thing
but-
in the pyramids?
Oh yeah. What the hell? I only just realized that.
So
Yeah.
it's Sand Road from
everyone
Sonic
forgot
Adventure,
about Forces. It's
Sandopolis from Sonic 3, and the Clockwork Towers from Sonic Forces.
What the hell?
Wait, so they took the pyramid from the area and Forces and transplanted it onto Angel Island? How does that work
Yes.
on a
Yes,
geographical?
It's canon.
we're
We
not.
don't need
the-
this. We just ended all this. We don't need this again.
Speaking of references
That wasn't
and
on-
story
what?
material, Whoever was writing for this game, I do applaud them because I think the characterization, despite some of the voice actor changes that people may have noticed,
Oh yeah,
was actually very good. I would argue voices and things, and the dialogue was funny, and it was. I don't know who wrote it. I couldn't find them listed anywhere. I don't know who wrote this game, but that was
Sega.
all.
yeah, the Sega man.
John Sega wrote it.
Pongraph, or I don't know who did this.
Do you mean Pontac? Oh wait, Pontac and Graph. I'm still
If it was Pontac and Graph, I feel like one of them would have said something on Twitter like they did last time.
There's definitely a lot of really good characters. Like Sonic and Shadow have some really good moments together.
Yeah. I mean, watching the story, it doesn't feel like a Pontac and Graph joint to me. So.
It feels very boom, if I'm completely honest. Sometimes it feels very boom.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I enjoyed the story for what it was. It's just there isn't much to it.
It's a racing game,
but there shouldn't be. It's a kart racing game. Like
right.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be like, why isn't
fluff.
this like? Yeah, it's like it's meant to be, and I think the Donpa is
You must collect all
fun
3
and goofy,
across
but
the 7 tracks.
and I'm okay with most of Big's dialogue. Most of it.
Yes.
Oh, I
Does
love
it
Big in
fit
this game.
Does Big's dialogue fit in with your? Does Big's dialogue fit in with your ideal of him in BDFA 3?
I feel like there's 1 or 2 lines in Team Sonic Racing where Big is a bit more dumb than he should be. But other than that, I'm liking it.
I think
more
we all
dumb.
know the new canon for Big the Cat is found in Sonic Hospital. You can listen to that in Special Stage, our sister podcast, which is available on this feed.
Nice plug, Jamie.
I know. This is the last one where Big the Cat. Big the Cat joins forces with Sega Scourge and SPD64 because goodness knows
In
why.
court.
In court. Because that.
Court?
Yeah,
Is he their lawyer?
You have to listen to find out, David.
To find out.
Well, it just came out. I haven't listened to it.
Well, that's disappointing on your
Well,
part.
great. Now everyone knows when we recorded this. Fantastic.
Right. No, whenever anyone listens to this, it's live. We redo the conversation.
Now we have to
Every
talk. Now we can't cover up that we haven't talked about the Sonic Lego figures yet.
I'm just gonna say to close, I really appreciate like the fan service in the levels and things for TSR. It was all really good, and I don't know who was doing it, but you can tell that the team working on it did.
There was a lot of love.
A lot of great love. Yeah, it was awesome. But like, oh my god, guys, why wasn't the moon blown in half in Clockwork Pyramid? 0 out of 10, am I
It was
right?
Sonic Forces,
0 out
not
of
Sonic Adventure 2. It was Sonic Forces.
Well, I mean, look, if Azuka said the moon got turned around...
Jamie, play the theme. Play the theme.
You know I can't do that today.
Damn it!
But
Does-
I think I just want to say on this game because you need to ransack what's going on. There is a lot of love put in this game, and it is, again, the mechanics are so good, and I got to admit, it surprised me because I was not expecting them to be as good as they are. I think it's just probably the reason why I am not in love with it is because it does feel like a project that was just against a budget and a time frame that like I'm sure, like, you know, when we had, I can't remember the name of the level is, but basically Spooky Rooftop Run,
Castle.
why isn't that Hang Castle? Like, and I'm sure, like, with time and money, that's what it would be. Like,
Well, they were filling out a quota. If you look, a lot of the themes you see follow, and even like some mechanics of tracks follow what happened in different tracks in Sega Sonic All-Stars Racing.
It's
Like,
funny,
you know,
because even the like I mentioned before with the fan service and the references, Haunted Castle has a really deep cut reference to Night of the Werehog. The suits of armor with the green glow are actually from Night of the Werehog. They're the exact
it's
same suits
crazy.
of armor. Yeah.
So
like-
can't, it's all one world.
But like you've got, what was it? You've got there's this part in Frozen Junkyard. Oh, by the way, not to give away spoilers, but you know how we're talking about DLC? Why is it that you can see egg pawns in this, and they also have the mass-produced Death Egg robots in a car? You race against them. What the fuck? Anyway, but there's this part in Frozen Junkyard where you smash through a block of ice, right? If you're a power character, you can like go off the left path, go up this tunnel of ice, and burst out the other side. that's pretty much what happens in Billy Hatcher's stages. You know, Sand Road, a lot of the stuff follows from there, or the Haunted Castle thing. A lot of House of the Dead inspiration came from there. It just proves the point of the game being on a budget, but that doesn't really make it bad. It just kind of makes like the game's not bad. It just could be more. Not even better. The game just could be more.
Are you saying it could be so much more
than this? But what could I be?
We do not quote Bentley in this podcast.
Mania worked on a budget and had reused levels. Mania shit confirmed.
But Jamie, I gotta be.
Can you stop?
I gotta be so much more.
Because Bentley Jones posted on his Facebook story a picture of him in Speedos, and I can't unsee it. So please can we not talk about it?
Did you respond? Please don't drop the guitar. Please put it back on you.
He's cool with twisted kind of bliss.
To be fair to him, like the ginger boy has been working out, but still,
I don't need to know this.
He should be hanging around. This is like on his public profile, like "Love you, boy," but don't. That's not a photo to take.
And what you're saying, you shouldn't be hanging around. Period.
Too much is hanging around in that photo. The point about Team Sonic Racing is that we love it. The one thing I will say,
it's a fun racing game.
It's a fun racing game. The one thing I will say, which I find interesting about this game, is it runs a theory of mine is every Sonic game that is not made by Sonic Team gets delayed so they can make it a better product, and it comes out, and to be fair, even in this case, it is a solid, polished product. Sonic Team games come out on release date, not so good.
Can we also just say that there is a slip in the case for the physical version of Team Sonic Racing for Sonic Mania, but nothing for Sonic Forces?
Well, technically, Sonic Mania Plus or Sonic, came out on physical after.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay, David.
Okay. So, does Sumo Digital love Sonic more than Paramount?
Well, this is
Sonic
the thing,
actually
like,
looks like Sonic here.
So like Sonic Mania got delayed. Sonic Team Racing got delayed. The
Sonic
3DS game, the Sonic Boom game on 3DS got delayed.
The Sonic movie got delayed.
And the jury's still out on that one.
But the thing is, the pattern has been, if a Sonic project gets delayed and isn't involved with Sonic Team, it might be alright.
Listen, Fire and Ice wasn't actually that bad, but it was not a good Sonic game, but it wasn't that bad of a game. It was much better than Shadow Crystal.
Because I recently played Sonic Forces. Oh my gosh, it's not good.
Yeah, Forces didn't get delayed.
Jamie's
Forces did have?
Forces.
Forces got made by a bunch of Hardlight employees. Good note.
You know what Sonic Forces had? Almost paid DLC for something that was been free since 1992.
Do you know what Forces didn't have? A Chaos boss fight.
Yeah, you know what? You know what else Forces didn't have? Anything nice.
Talking of Chaos, because
love
they made a model of Chaos for Sonic Forces, so I sort of assumed in the Team Eggman, like Team Sonic Racing, it would be like Chaos.
Oh no, Jamie! Oh no, Jamie! Because Chaos isn't really bad.
He's not bad. Yeah.
It's okay though, because you can get these really cool vinyl decals that have perfect Chaos on them.
I mean, Chaos could be a neutral, anti-Shadow-esque something.
I'm still hoping out for maybe if this game does well enough, we get an adventure pack and there's Team Adventure that has Tikal, Chaos, and Gamma.
Oh no, they all have a kiss?
Okay, that's weird. So,
I want to see
What
Chaos.
are you talking about?
Talking of Hardlight,
I have a kiss.
Who here has recently played Sonic Dash?
Me.
No.
It's very weird. It's very different from what I remember.
Because
within the
I
last
looked
month.
at it recently, and like now you collect things to build like huts and stuff in each
There's
area.
cow gardens and
I was like, who is gonna play this game enough to unlock like a shed and a tree and a thing for each area? And a very special friend of mine has been playing this game, and because I was like, I'm a Sonic fan, so I'll play Sonic Dash. They have unlocked basically everything.
Oh, there you go.
Why?
Hacking.
Yeah.
But what I
I
found
wish I
interesting.
knew that. I wish I knew that about Sonic Runners. Maybe I would have
I
got
did
classic
see
Sonic
that.
a bit earlier.
What happened to Sonic Runners Adventure or Adventure Runners or whatever game?
It came out, everyone got
Did it?
sad, and no one talks about it anymore.
Is it
And
still
then there
out?
was, yeah, but then there was the Runners Revival project that, after a day of seeing amazing fan praise, got a cease and desist.
Well, it
Wow.
didn't get a cease and desist exactly.
Well, no, it was they were emailed by Sega to say, hey, yo, stop.
They were in contact with someone who was connected to Hard. They were
But
saying, "Oh, you should be
why?
careful."
The game
Because
doesn't
it was
make any money. It's not there anymore.
Right, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but
Sonic.
if Runners
it still
Adventure was
exists.
out,
No,
The
it doesn't.
rival-
They're not losing profit.
Maybe it just means they have plans for it in the future. I don't know.
A bit late.
Well, I
Mhm.
think they were. It was Sega. It was someone from Sega saying, "Oh, you got to be careful," and it was someone who was new. And the people running the revival project just took it like they blew it out of proportion and started freaking out. And I know people who then talked to everyone involved, and things calmed down. And I know it still exists. There's still a server. They're still working on it. I don't know to what degree anything's done, but I guess it's because since it is based on an actual product, people or like Sega will look at it a bit closer. The same thing like, there's the Sonic 06 remake. You want to be careful because if there's even a hint that somebody's trying to make money off of it, I'm sure Sega will freak out because it is a direct remake of a product that exists that people can buy.
Yeah.
When it comes to fan games that are just like Sonic, in the case of the Chili Dog, Sega knows
Sonic
like
versus Darkness.
right,
not
like most people are
vibes.
going to realize that that's a fan game. But when it's like, if you release a fan game that's called Sonic the Hedgehog and that's it, or here's Sonic Runners, they're going to look at it a bit more close because they want to make sure that everything's on the up and up. And
That's fair enough.
yeah,
talking of
I know.
unofficial Sonic projects,
Uh-huh.
if you are listening to this when this goes up, if you go to the Sonic Show's Twitter and look at a pinned tweet, you can buy this year's Pride t-shirts. Woo woo. And then all profits go to Stonewall,
Hooray.
and it means you can look gay and a Sonic fanboy at the same time.
Plug.
Well, yeah, Sonic Forces Speed Battle. The Hardlight account made a tweet along the same lines.
Sonic now confirmed gay, apparently.
But he just-
As all I've been seeing on my timeline for like the past week. Sonic confirmed gay. I'm like, okay, cool.
well, he
I
I
doesn't
thought he
really-
already was. I mean, he hangs around with a. Oh, actually, I was going to get into scary territory. Let's not.
It's like it's just holding a rainbow flag. I don't get why people blew it out of proportion.
I just thought
could
it was
hold a
cool.
rainbow
I think
flag.
that's really cool that they even they could have just not addressed it. And then they
Yeah,
did.
and to
I
be
thought-
fair, like that's not the official Sonic the Hedgehog account has made a Pride-related tweet back when the US brought in equal marriage. So like, it's not Sonic's been holding Pride.
Sonic
stuff
isn't.
before.
The one thing we need to remember is that Sonic has a lot of influence, especially on social media nowadays. Like, there's a lot of people looking at the Sonic Twitter. There's like, how many followers has it got now?
I'd say
What?
Sonic has more influence in social media than he does in any of his actual main platforms these days.
Oh,
I think he's-
100%.
Yeah, I think he's more of a he's known. He has more of a fan base in terms of the influencer market. Than
If you
he
look
does
at
in, like,
Sonic's Wikipedia page, it says Sonic the Hedgehog, occupation, social media star.
and I believe it, boy. Right, guys, we need to wrap up for the day because this has been, I think, a rather successful return of the opinion zone. Like, we only went through 2 topics, and oh my gosh, we discussed them to death. But
We had enough steam for both of them. Yeah.
exactly.
And we'll see you again in 10 months when the Sonic movie gets a second delay and Team Sonic Racing has its first set of DLC.
We will be back soon. I promise you guys. I'm not saying next week, but we will be back at some point.
Well, actually, maybe, considering
maybe.
what's going on.
every 3 days.
Every
That'd
3
be
days.
cool, man. We could do it
Every
live,
12
yeah.
hours, a brand new Opinion Zone episode will come out.
So who
I'm
knows what will
serious, yeah.
happen? Because there is a Sonic Show shindig happening very soon. But
Yeah.
firstly, we'll all promote our junk, but not in the same way Bentley Jones does. But we, but
Oh
I
God, he
just
dropped
want
the guitar.
But before we
He's cool with a
do,
twisted kind of bliss.
before we do, I want to say a big shout out to SPD64 Nicole, who unfortunately could not be here because she's off having a better time somewhere else. So I just want to say, obviously, SPD64 on Twitter and YouTube, do check her out. She's usually here, but she's not today. If you want to follow the Sonic Show, find something better to do. But if you still want to do it, then you can go to @Sonic_show. And if you search every other platform with the Sonic Show, because hey ho.
He said it. He
Poxy,
said the thing.
Poxy, where can people find you if they want to get infrequent updates?
You can find the archived YouTube channel that has many famous videos such as Pizza and Sonic in Slender at YouTube.com/SonicPox, which is capital S, capital X. Or you can follow me on Twitter, which actually has a lot more going for it, which is @SonicPox, capital S, capital X.
Nice. And Scourgy Boy, where can they find your shenanigans?
I'm on YouTube. My URL's broken, so just type in the Sega Scourge or the Sonic Theorist, and you'll get my stuff. I swear more theory videos are being worked on, so look forward to those. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @SuperScourge300. People keep telling me to change that, but I don't want to confuse people, so it's @SuperScourge300. Lowercase, no spaces. There you go.
And
Yeah.
David, where are you
Hello.
lurking to these days?
All right. Well, I'm still lurking on Twitter. @DTLurker, the letter D, the letter T, the word lurker. I do tweet there. I guess I still run the Sonic Retro Twitter account. I mean, I only tweet there from time to time. Oh, I do have an Instagram now. I have 2 photos. That's probably that's about it. It's still DT Lurker. Yeah, I mean, generally there, and I don't know if I should plug BBFA3, but maybe later.
You're on
Maybe.
Find the Computer Room.
Maybe later.
Yeah.
Also, guys, if you're listening to this, you've probably already listened to it, but if you have not, do check out the other series that's on our podcast called Special Stage. It's a new show recently launched by a guy called Jaden. And just to give you a taster, his mind is slightly insane, but he produces hilarious content if you are someone who is willing to listen to potentially edgy stuff. Then definitely check it out. And he goes into great topics. He just did an interview with a guy who does video game music theories. What's that about? Which came out to when a few days ago when you listened to this.
Sly boy.
Yeah, and has done other things. Recently did a really interesting episode where the second half he actually talks about and something that people shouldn't but do make fun of in the Sonic community, which is autism. But he actually talks about that. He does. But no, Jaden talks about being someone who actually suffers from autism and his experience of it, and one of the numerous ways that he deals with it, which is a controversial subject, but one that I'm very proud that you guys can listen to. And you can argue with and disagree if you want. So do check that out as well. He has an episode out every Monday because someone on the Sonic Show is consistent. It may not be me. And he has a Patreon as well. So if you want to give him money and get extra content, then do that because we're not offering anything. So go to him. Guys, it's been awesome. Thank you for listening to this episode. We will listen to you in the future. Not committing to a date. And we love you all very much, except for you, Donnie, if you're listening. Ciao.
Oh my god.
Bye.
The shake.
Bye.
Oh, been listening to that Opinion Zone.
You've been listening to The Opinion Zone, brought to you by Audio Boom. Don't forget to check out our page at audioboom.com/channel/The Sonic Show. and leave us a comment. You can also interact with us at any time on Twitter by tweeting at Sonic_show. Until next time, by which I mean whenever Jay can be bothered again. Stay safe and please leave Froggy alone.
Hey, yo, it's the Sonic Show.